If you have been feeling something missing or like something is off, then this video is for you. And excuse me, this message could be, or this feeling could be in general or about something specific in your life right now. Especially if you're going through a transition, or there's some kind of cycle that you are continuing to engage with. I was expecting to share more about the context of your situation, but I actually felt like I received the message it was going to be much more of a distraction to give examples and give details about the situation that you're feeling this in, or if it's a general feeling, because the details in this case are actually just a distraction for you. And that's not just from this video, that we often overcomplicate problems, and the solutions are often more simple than our minds expect or even allow them to be. So in this case, the details or reviewing the facts is more of an obstacle or a distraction, especially here where when you're looking for the answer of what is missing or what to do about what is missing, or that feeling of something being off, the details are actually more of a distraction, an obstacle to you receiving like messages from your intuition or listening to your intuition. So the main encouragement here, the main message I received was to stay attuned to how you're feeling, really notice how you're feeling, and not even getting too lost in the details of that either, that we can really simplify decisions and guidance by noticing if we're feeling feelings of like restriction, kind of like a heaviness or like contraction, doubt or confusion, as opposed to like this like feeling of lightness, like less weight and openness, and like a calm and a peace about it. Especially in your chest. I notice this feeling a lot in my chest. There may be some other feelings that do come up for you though, some hesitation, and I do believe that this hesitation is likely stemming from something, like some part of you that needs something. And I think for most of you, it's actually reassurance. So there is some encouragement here to look at that with curiosity, to see what kinds of reassurance you or this part of you is needing, and working on your narratives to naturally reassure this part of you as you move through this process. And this hesitation may come up in multiple stages of this process here, this looking for looking to resolve this, whatever's feeling like it's missing, this object, right, of being this, what feels like is missing, what feels off. So just allow those feelings to move through you and not get too lost in the details of those. There was also several times that this phrase of a death grip came up for me, and it's not a phrase that I use very often. So that might be a phrase that you use, or just might really be a depiction of how strong this clinging might be. I don't know if you can hear my dog eating. yeah, there's a lot of feelings of nourishment. Like that feels like a need for nourishment, meeting your needs. Yeah. So this like death grip, clinging to something. I mean, the phrase might be that strong because it's like indicative of how strong your grip might be on whatever this is. Especially if this is something that your intuition is encouraging you to let go of. Whatever this thing is, this situation, this person, this narrative, whatever that might be. So there might just be another layer of reassurance here of not that we have to fully let go, but we're just loosening the grip, and just for right now. And that might not actually be true. It may be something that is not for just right now, but that's not necessarily like what we're focusing on. We're just focusing on what like the next easiest baby step is to like move towards more peace and like calm and alignment in your life. There's a couple specific messages relevant to this overarching theme here that I felt called to share. I kept receiving the phrase that this is an escapable predicament, that like I'm getting almost a visual of like a person being tangled up in like a bunch of threads or cords or you know, like rope, something, like being tied up, and not necessarily tied up, just that there's like a tangle of it. And so the person themselves actually believes that like they're tied up so that they are not able to escape. But really it's just kind of like when your headphones go in your pocket, like they just kind of turn into this jumbled pile. And if you kind of sit and tease it a little bit, you notice that it comes loose and it's not actually like tied in a literal knot. So these things are escapable. Whatever it is that like, whatever the growing pains of the situation is, whatever parts of you that you are outgrowing, or the parts of your life that you're outgrowing, or these narratives, whatever this may be for you, it is escapable. And unfortunately, it does serve a purpose for us to to just believe that we are not in control of that we are trapped by these situations. So in this case, and like with every feeling, because I had this come up numerous times, with any feeling that comes up for you, including this feeling of like being trapped, or that this situation, this thing is not escapable, explore what that purpose is. Like, how does that serve you? Like, what need does that fulfill for you? And that seems to be the key to really sidestepping these obstacles. I kept receiving these messages that like these obstacles might appear like they're all external, but actually for the majority of them, like 99% of them for you, are inescapable. And like, I'm hearing that you won't believe a lot of them are escapable, but that's because it's a part of your belief system right now, and it's still serving a purpose. And that at some point, as you like continue on this growth and expansion journey, you will come to understand more and more how the obstacles that we experience are, the majority of them are self-inflicted. And because they're self-inflicted, we can actually sidestep the majority of these obstacles, that there's conscious choice in us engaging in these obstacles, whether that's because we're not necessarily fully conscious of this choice that we can sidestep them, or because we are not fully ready to release these obstacles. And I mean, just to reiterate, it's because it does serve a purpose. And sometimes those purposes, like this was another thing that came up, was like that sometimes the purpose that it serves is because it served a purpose for us in the last stage of our life, or maybe even a couple stages ago, but it doesn't serve a purpose for us today, that we've actually outgrown it. And that can be a lot of where this friction comes from, of something being off or something missing, is because these, whatever this thing is, I'll just refer to it as the object again. The object, you know, that this situation of something missing or feeling off, that is no longer aligned with who we are today and like the life that we are living today. Like alignment, moving into alignment is just like moving into a space internally and externally that feels more like at peace with us. Like there's the least amount of like friction and resistance. So this is one of those like opportunities to not necessarily explore. Like there was a lot of discouragement in exploring the details of what is missing or feels off. So not necessarily exploring that part of it, but exploring the feelings that come up for you in this process. And the message of something feeling off or missing is highlighting what is not aligned in your life, and is blocking you, distracting you from listening to your intuition. And at the end of the day, our intuition is going to continue to lead us to peace and living our best life. And the example that's coming up for me, I wanted to keep this really simple because it is it is very clear to me in all of this message that problems can be boiled down to listening to your intuition, and the solutions can be boiled down to listening to your intuition and listening to your feelings, listening to your body, which is where our intuition resides, that gut feeling, you know. I really actually get a lot of those feelings though in my chest and not necessarily my gut, but a lot of people use the term gut feeling. But the example I want to give here does seem like it's relevant, so I think somebody needs to hear this, that just like how animals in nature don't need to have very much cognition, that they already naturally know how to walk and find food and water and find mates and raise a family. Like it is both a blessing and an obstacle for us to have such well-developed cognition. So it seems like really what is being encouraged here is to almost, use that as the gift that it is, but not let that be the focal point of your life, to actually lean more on the structures of how animals function, that they go based off of this intuition, this internal knowing of what they need and what is aligned for them and what will bring them peace. And if any of this resonated for you, do like it and comment, or either or, because it does help me know where you are needing guidance in your life, and what to lean into, because I do receive a lot of messages, and if I spent all that time recording them, there would be, hours of footage, every week or even every day. So I try to just share what seems to be like the most important at the time, and I don't want to be over filtering that. So engage with my content that feels really relevant for you, so I know where to guide my focus. And if you're needing anything, definitely comment that too. Guidance, comfort, encouragement. And as always, I'm going to send you off with so much peace and love and light.